Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from DNA Tuning and Mike's Garage. I'm Shaun, and today we are going to do some logging services for this F10. This is a 5 Series 520i. It's a 2013 car. So this car we have already done a stage 1 on it, and we've also done a stage 2 on it as well, coupled with a transmission tune, so the client is actually very happy. Just to give a slight introduction about the car, for the 5 Series 520i, it has the N20 engine, and for this model, since it's an early model, so it has the first iteration of the N20. So you can see it's not a hidden B48 or what. Simple mods have been done on the car to get what the power it is getting now. So one would be the JTEX air filter. So it's actually hidden inside here. It's just the performance drop-in filter, so you don't need any special things to do. You can do it yourself at home as well. The second thing done to this car was the downpipe. Basically, it's a catless downpipe. I can't show you because we can't really see it from the top. It's actually behind and going bottom. So I have a few samples of the air filters, so maybe I can show you guys. So here are two samples of air filters. So this is actually the one for the N20, and this is actually a super huge one which we don't even know whose car can fit it. Any of you guys want it can let us know. So let's talk about some benefits about this. So a lot of people actually wonder whether it's a myth or whether is it true that is this really helpful? The answer to this simply is yes, it does improve, but of course it doesn't give you as much power as tuning, but it's a simple mod that you can do it yourself. It gives you instantaneous response and slight power gains for the price it is. So one would just be a couple $100, maybe 300-400 ringgit. And besides just getting power, you actually get another good benefit, which is it is reusable. So instead of using paper filters, this is actually reusable. You can get like K&N cleaning kits, so you can just wash it and re-oil it, because the main filtration mechanism is actually from the oil, not the filter itself. Talking about the specs of this car on stock tune would be giving out around 182 or 184 horses at crank, and also around 270 Newton meters. We've actually dynoed this car before. On wheel now it's actually around 250 and around 250 horses and around 410 or 420 Newton meters at wheel. So on crank we are looking at around 280 to 300 horses. Those are just figures, but definitely we're not going to go into how great the car drives and etc., because that's a given. Otherwise, we won't be tuning this car at all. Another great thing about this car to note is owners should really consider tuning your N20, or maybe you have a B48 from the newer versions of the F30 or also the G20, G30s. It's actually a car or engine with great tuning potential, because for this engine, example the 520i, it basically gained like around 100 horses at crank and more than 100 Newton meters on wheel. Yes, on wheel as well. So it's actually a huge difference just even by going for a stage 1 tune coupled with a transmission. So for owners who want to be more conservative, you do not want to mod your car as much, you can actually not opt for the stage 2 tune where you need a downpipe at least. You can just go for stage 1, go for a drop-in filter, nobody would know. Your car would sound the same, maybe slightly quieter, but you'll be surprised by what your car was actually designed for. You'll be amazed. So now let's move on to doing the diagnostics and also the logging. Hey guys, now we're in the car. We are going to do the road dyno soon, once we reach where we're supposed to do it. So one of the common myths people have is, oh, so I changed my spark plugs, I need to retune my car. I changed my batteries, I need to retune my car. I did my oil change, I need to retune my car. So a lot of people think that doing certain changes, hardware changes, mechanical changes to your car, and then you need to retune your car, because they think, oh, my car now has lesser power after I've did something. and then I need to retune it to get back my power. So actually that is not true. It's not that easy or not that possible for the tune to actually go away just by removing the battery or etc. Unless you change the ECU, of course, because that's where the data is stored. So it actually is not true. The tune is actually in there, it doesn't go away. So if one day after your car is tuned and then you feel like suddenly your power is gone, one is either you're numb to the power, you're so used to it you don't feel it anymore. Two is there's something mechanically wrong with your car. So yeah, now we are at the spot to do the road dyno, and there's a Ferrari behind me. So Ian, get ready to press. Okay, we are going to drop down to 4th gear. Ian, press.
Alright, go down. Alright.
Pedals were metal. Okay, let's see whether this Ferrari gives us space.
Sampling and done.
Okay.
We're looking at 270 horsepower and 437 Nm torque. This is on the crank. I'm just gonna enlarge the graph for you. Yeah, back to you, Shaun.
Yeah, so basically the figures you've seen there is from the stage 2 tune that we have on this car. Of course, the dyno is again just figures. It's not something you hold to every number it says. Most importantly is how the car feels. This is usually what we use as a guide, and while we diagnose the car, we see whether is it true, is there a loss in power, or is there something wrong with the car. Because example, we have had clients who came in who told us they were on a stage 2 tune. One of the ways we were able to diagnose is we did the road dyno and we found out the power was way lower than what a stage 2 tune is supposed to give, and in fact at that example it was actually at stock level, lower than stock level, because the supercharger wasn't working on that car. So this is just one tool we use to diagnose. Of course we also do it as service, just like how people like to go to dyno machines. Some people also want to get their road dyno figures, so you can come to us, we can do it as a service to you. So we'll just do a run, do 1 or 2 pulls for you, and then we can give you your road dyno chart. Then you can be able to see the figures at crank for your car, so you can have more than one reference of a dyno chart. But of course, don't think of it as something like a Bible. In the end, figures are just figures. You can have a good driver with lower numbers and they can still go way faster than you. So this is just a reference, so don't be too fixated about this. Another thing to note is for the F10 owners, also the F30 owners, if you have the N20 engine, really take my advice, try to tune your car. If you have the 320i or 520i, even more so of a reason you should really tune your car, because your engine has really great potential. You would be surprised, just from a stage 1 tune, you would actually be able to keep up or maybe overtake the 520 or 528 or 328 guys. So yeah, give it a try. It's not actually killing your car. This car only needs normal maintenance. Best practice of oil changes, not really best, just what we suggest. Change your oils every 6,000 to 8,000 kilometers. Don't change it every more than 10,000. That's all. There's not really much you need to do for this car, because it's just a simple tune. It's not really strangling your car for every bit of power. So give it a try. Let us know if you want to have a dyno done for your car, or if you want to tune your car, or anything related to cars. Just let us know, we'll help you out. Okay guys, now we are back in the workshop. We can now safely analyze this graph we have. So over here we have the stage 2 figures, which is just now 270 horses and 437 Newton meters, and this is actually the base figure we had on the car, 188 horses and 272 Newton meters, which is actually very close to what BMW claims the N20 engine, the 520 version, not the 528 version, is supposed to provide. I think it was around 182, 184 and 270 newtons. So yeah, pretty accurate road dyno. So if you can see over here the graph, the one over here, the green ones are actually the torque, and the pink, purple and red one is actually the horsepower. You can see it's a kind of gain where it's not just about a sudden hike in peak performance. You can see there's actually steady gains throughout the whole torque curve and also the whole RPM range over there, the whole white power band. So this is actually a very smooth kind of power delivery kind of graph that we actually aim to have for the tunes we do, because we don't want you to just go for a tune where they can give you very high powers over here. Maybe they can give you, let's say, 300 plus 350, and then it's just maybe a sudden hike on the RPM, just a pop over there, instead of like you see area under the graph, area under the curve. So this is actually where you gain a lot of power. So yeah, that's the result of the dyno chart that we have from this F10 520i stage 2 versus stock. We're not going to do a 0 to 100 for this car like we usually do. We've done some other loggings as well, just to collect more data on how the car is doing. We're not doing a 0 to 100 because the client doesn't care about that. He doesn't want it. He just cares about the power delivery, the drivability. And yeah, you can see power is not gone, even though this owner just changed his battery 2 weeks ago, I think. So common myth debunked. If let's say one day we are able to just remove tunes just by replacing battery or replacing certain parts of the car, we would be very grateful, because we would have much more business to do. We can just retune your car for a small charge, or we can retune other cars that has been locked. Yes, so that's all for today, and have fun, drive safe.